reactions have been trailing the new dates for the next Africa Cup of Nations for the men and of course for the women right here in Africa. And a lot of people have said this is simply new colonialism from FIFA, because some reports are suggesting that CAF couldn't come up with dates until they got pre-approval from World Football Governing Body, FIFA. I don't know what you think. I'm sure you must have seen all of those things, but we'll be breaking things down nicely on Sports Africa today. Welcome once again. My name is Asha Luluafemi. James Agberebi is here, and of course, we'll be looking at all of this extensively. Things that are responsible. Of course, if you've been following us right from Nigeria Super Fans Forum up to this stage, we've talked about how CAF can actually ensure they come to a fixing date for the AFCON so that it wouldn't really affect African players playing in Europe. But as it is now, it seems there is no end to all of this controversy. Once again, guys, you're welcome. Wherever you're joining us from across the globe. James, you're welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
All right. Okay, so like we've said, that is what is just going to be the crux of our discussion today on the show. James, a new date for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations for the men, and of course for the women. Maybe quickly we just have to let's reiterate it again for those who are just getting to know for the very first time. So for the 2025 AFCON for the men will be taking place in Morocco. It will be between December 21st, 2025, and the final will be taking place on January 18th, 2026. And of course, for the women, it will be between July 5th, 2025. Of course, I need to end July 26th the same year. James, I don't know how you felt or how you interpreted all of this, but what people are saying is, and I think this is very key, and I'll just ask for permission or for your indulgence to actually read this out. Especially for the men, people are saying that, okay, the qualification for the AFCON for the women now will ended in November 2023, right? Last year, of course, we already knew teams will be playing. It will take over a year and a half. That is 19 months to be exact before the tournament is played in July 2025. Now for the men, the qualification will be starting in September this year. It will end in November 2024, just within a short period, but it will take 13 months. James, 13 months before the tournament is played between December 2025 and of course January 2026. James, people are saying CAF is weak, the leadership of CAF is weak, and that is why they allow FIFA to just manipulate the body, because some are saying FIFA can't do this in Europe. You can't even do this to UEFA. You can't do this even to CONMEBOL. You can't do this to the Asian Football Federation, because the argument FIFA, CAF, I should say, put forward is that there is no data. Most of the dates have actually been picked up, including the enlarged FIFA Club World Cup in Morocco. CAF were saying that would have been another option, but I mean taken up by FIFA.
But for me, I think the whole thing is getting so messier now. Before it was the competition being kicked off to January, February. Now it's December, January, and it's I don't even know what to say again, because I don't know. We don't know what will come up next. So I mean, nobody's going to take a federation like this serious, because you keep disrupting things. You just come up with some kind of dates. When they say the Morocco will host the AFCON, and a lot of people are like, okay, I think this will align with the calendar in Europe, because our we're in the sub-Saharan, our weather condition is not like that in North Africa. Yeah. Remember in 2019, the AFCON was held in the middle of the year in Egypt. Everything went seamlessly. Then it now reverted back to the usual big green when it now came back to the sub-Sahara. So for me, it's I think for me, I think I won't be wrong if I say CAF they've lost it. The whole thing is so rowdy now, so disorganized. And now it has affected the women's team. The women's team, their competition that have been so well organized, and now they've kind of added them to to what has been going on with the men's game. So for me, I think for me it's sad, because just like what you said, you don't find this happening in other football governing bodies, UEFA, CONMEBOL. You don't see all these things happening. Why is it that it's always CAF? It's always Africa when it comes to things like this, and you always see FIFA handwritten all over these things, all the decision making, and So I mean, when you don't put your house in order, you always give people the wrong impression about you. I mean, these are the kind of things we continue to see.
Okay.
Because, I mean, look at the gap after the qualifiers, then look at the gap before you now. I remember the World Cup qualifiers will continue next year. So for me, it's not looking good for me. I mean,
Okay.
the way the dates have just been that they keep disrupting the dates. I mean, it's this competition is what we have that we have to showcase to the world. But I don't know. Every time the competition comes up, there's always these issues must always come with it. It's always off the pitch issues. Putting it in bad light, and the earlier they sit down and do the right thing, the better for this competition.
Okay, I'm sure you all remember the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar, where, of course, the competition had to be held in November. Remember, there were a lot of issues there. Even some players, some legends, legends of the game, they decided to boycott the game, like people like Philip Lahm, the ex-German international. I remember he said he was going to boycott that. FIFA was doing all of those for money. Now imagine the ongoing Euro 2024 being played sometimes in the summer. Just imagine how it look like. That is what it's happening. And maybe it is quite nice if we reiterate again that the inconsistency with CAF in changes in calendar. Now, the qualification for the AFCON, that is the AFCON for the women, ended in November 2023. It will take over a year and a half. That is 19 months to be exact before the competition will be played. 19 months. Now, that is even more than enough for qualifiers to even take place on its own. Now, for the men now, the qualifiers will be ending in November 2024. Remember, it will be starting in September, and it will take 13 months. 13 months before the tournament is played between December 2025, I should say, and of course, then we have January 2026. James, let's look at what CAF is saying all of this. Maybe we should give them the benefit of the doubt, but some actually said that CAF president Patrice Motsepe is actually a weak person, because sometimes it has to do with the personality of the person leading an organization, that even when FIFA makes a proposal and you think it will not be suitable for what you do in your own continent, you should have the personality strong enough to just say, no, this cannot happen. But let's quickly look at what CAF is saying. In a statement after the date for the two competitions were announced, and CAF said, as there were complex and at times challenging discussions with various interested parties, and people have said people said the only party as far as that is concerned is FIFA. There are no other parties. And CAF said, CAF said, in the light of the extensive international and domestic match calendars, they went on to say that they are committed to protecting and advancing the interests of African players playing in football clubs in Europe and worldwide. CAF is also committed to building mutual beneficial relationships with the ECA, UEFA, and other football confederations and FIFA. James, imagine that AFCON will be played through Christmas. AFCON will be played through Christmas. This is when clubs in the Premier League have congested fixtures, even on Boxing Day, on New Year's Day, this club, and you expect them to release their key players. This is what we've been talking about, that CAF, particularly we in Africa, we must ensure we protect the interest of our players, because some are saying this is just neo-colonialism from FIFA. Now, there is no way this is not going to affect African players playing in Premier League, and of course, even in other leagues when they resume after the summer break. or the winter break, I should say, the winter break.
No, Femi, some of these teams they play deep into December period or some even early January before they go on break. So which means the competition starts 21st. So the players must be released either 2 weeks before the tournament. Some
You know
clubs
that doesn't
also,
work, right? You know the 2 weeks
yeah,
doesn't
on
work.
paper,
Some even a
on
week, some even
paper,
days. Yeah.
yeah. Some you just have to negotiate. On paper that's what it is, but on you can still negotiate. So it just puts the players in a tight corner. Just like what the Napoli president said back, I think before the start of the 2021 AFCON, where he made some remarks, and even
That won't sign
Jurgen Klopp,
African players anymore because
yeah, even Jurgen Klopp,
of AFCON. Yeah.
yes, Jurgen Klopp to make some statements. So it's all about losing players during the key moments in their various leagues. So the African players are going to suffer for it. Because otherwise you see some players they start opting out, start feigning injuries, because you now have to choose between the national team and your club side, so you put them in a tight corner now, So Femi, I don't know. We've not seen the last of this, because we all be prepared for more of this because we've still kind of set a bad precedent.
James, where you want to think that maybe CAF itself has a planning issue is because this is 2024. CAF is looking for a host for the 2024 CAF Awards. It is looking for a host for the 2024 CAF Women's Champions League. It is also looking for a host for Youth Championship. In the same year, this is the last month in the first half of the year. And CAF is looking for a host for events that will be taking place later this year. Isn't that saying something about all of the things that we've talked about on the show today? That CAF itself maybe has a planning issue, so to say.
Yeah, Femi, that's why sometimes I always find it difficult to always add FIFA to any issue that's going on here in Africa, because if you don't put your eyes in order, these are the kind of things you're going to keep on experiencing. I mean, now you're looking for who's going to host three major events. We keep going back to places like Europe, and because fine, people want to argue that we are different from Europeans, but I mean, you can't just use that as an excuse. You have to do the right thing. We are still battling with the dates for AFCON. Now they don't know who's going to host the next awards. Everything just be so disorganized now. I mean, because when it comes to hosting of these major tournaments, I mean, you just a handful of countries that have the facilities. I mean, look at the work of fires. Some things have to be away from home, because of things like this. So I mean, it's an in-house issue. When I say in-house, I mean CAF. I don't think we've had it this bad in the past. When during the days of Isaiah, I don't think it was this so somebody that fine you might want to say okay he has his own fault, but I mean it wasn't this terrible. It wasn't. I mean he's somebody that never took. You can't just give him orders, especially from FIFA. He always stood his ground. But is what it is. I mean, you have an award now, you don't know who's going to host it. You have the CAF Women's Champions League. I mean, they don't know who's going to come on board now because it's now like an SOS SOS stuff now. He's looking for who's going to bail you out, and he can't keep going back to countries that have been doing it.
Yeah.
Africans, most especially, they've been doing it, and I mean, other countries you have to come up and do something. If it's not the North Africa, it's South Africa. So other the African countries. That's why we keep talking about this funny development. When you lack all these things, these are the kind of issues you're going to face. That's why CAF they only find it difficult to give AFCON to any other countries. Because they know that they're country with so many limitations. The 2027 edition will be hosted like 3 African countries. And there are still question marks. They are talking about some of the states are not yet ready. So Femi, they just have to put their house in order. You can't have this kind of big events and you don't even know when it's going to, for me, at the end of the day, they are going to postpone the awards. Honestly, that's what's going to happen. Because if they can postpone the major tournament like the AFCON, the WAFCON, who said they cannot do the same to the CAF award and the what you call the CAF Women's Champions League.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, I don't think. Excuse me. I don't think CAF can go to Morocco because I think at this point Morocco will tell CAF that they are overwhelmed. Morocco held the last CAF awards in Marrakesh, so I wouldn't know. I think the problem with Africa, from the economic problem, now it is affecting sports because you can see the Euros that is currently ongoing in Germany. We've seen matches played in Dortmund. You see matches played in Stuttgart. These are facilities that are owned by clubs and not even the national team. So to say, for instance, a country as big as Nigeria, as blessed as Nigeria in terms of resources, Nigeria have only one facility that FIFA considered good enough to host the World Cup qualifier. So if not for the stadium in Uyo, maybe Nigeria, just imagine Nigeria will be playing World Cup qualifiers in maybe Ghana or Benin Republic. It's that sad, James. And I think this is literally beyond CAF, I would say. I think we can exonerate CAF in all of this because the respective countries must take decision to facilitate infrastructural development in their countries for general economic growth. I think that is what we can say. Okay, of course, we have Nigeria and Kenya will be representing Africa. And in the next FIFA Under-17 World Cup for the ladies, of course, you have Nigeria in Group A alongside the Dominican Republic, Ecuador, and New Zealand. And then we have Kenya in Group C. They'll be playing alongside Korea Democratic People's Republic of Korea, then Mexico and England. James, that is going to be some baptism of fire for Kenya. I was shocked when I saw that they made it. Nigeria have been here. You understand? So it is not a new territory for Nigeria, but Kenya is going to be some baptism of fire, particularly England. You know, all of these countries, Mexico, Korea, they have very, very vibrant youth development system for both boys and girls.
Yeah, I think on paper, the Flamingos, they had for me, I think their group. I think the group that I expect them to come out from. The last edition in 2023 in India, they finished third, defeated heavyweights like Germany and the USA. So for me, looking at the group, Ecuador, New Zealand, and the hosts, I think they have the pedigree, to come out from the group. Apart by when the 2018 edition, if I'm not mistaken, that's the only time they missed out on and taking part in the Under-17 Women's World Cup. They've been ever present, except that edition when they failed to qualify, and so for me, they have what it takes to come out from the group. For Kenya, I think it's going to be a big baptism of fire. For me, I want to say it's going to be a good experience for them. In fact, it's a tough group. England, and North Korea, Mexico. These are countries who have one time or the other have been taking part in this competition. So, for Kenya, just like what happened to Zambia, when Zambia qualified for their first major tournament, that was Tokyo Olympics in the football event. We also what they did very, very well, which helped them to qualify for the World Cup. They also give a good account of themselves. So sometimes you need to take part in all this competition, groom these young players so that they have this experience at this major tournament, which we go down and that's what Zambia they are reaping from now. After taking part at the Olympics, that's where we also Barbara Banda, what she did, scored hat tricks and not twice that she scored a hat trick. So if you don't take part in all these tournaments, you don't know what this tournament does to players, give them that exposure. And by the time even though they don't go, the thing about this youth tournament is just a platform to expose these players for the bigger task ahead. So it's not about winning. Winning is just part of it. A winner must emerge, but it's a platform to give young skills. And for me, I think that they shouldn't bother themselves that they are in a tough group and they might not come out. I mean, nobody gave them a chance to qualify.
Just go and enjoy the lives of
Nigeria. Yes, we are studying the lives of Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, Cameroon, the regulars to qualify. But hey, Kenya out of nowhere, which means something is happening in Kenya. We only know them for the marathons, but they've
Athletics,
shown
yeah.
that they can also do something when it comes to football. And their female team, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time a Kenyan team qualify for a FIFA
The female
tournament.
team,
If I'm not
yeah.
mistaken, I don't know. I doubt if
Even
the
the male
male
team,
team have. Yes, so this is the first
yeah.
time a team from Kenya will qualify for any FIFA major tournament. So it was a breakthrough, you know. So for me, I see this as a learning curve, as a good opportunity for them to showcase what they can do. I also they cannot even qualify from the group because we are saying fine on paper they might be the whipping team, but they can shock us and qualify from the group. You know, so
James,
I
well
expect them
said.
to do well. Yeah,
Yeah,
they would
well
even though
said,
they
well
don't
said.
qualify. Like I said, even though they don't qualify, I mean, I believe they're going to give a good account of themselves.
Yeah, well said, James. I think flesh and blood has not revealed that to you. The likes of Rachel Kondanaji, Barbara Banda that we heard today, they started from a platform like this. Let's go on this break. When we return, of course, we are in the last lap of the show today. We'll be going to Ghana. We'll be talking about Michael Essien and Samuel Kufo laughing at the media in Ghana after they said that Michael Essien is broke. And Osekufo said, because a court ordered that two mansions worth $20 million and $30 million respectively to for Michael Essien should be auctioned. The media has been awash by saying that Michael Essien is broke. Samuel Osekufo said, Michael Essien is filthily rich. He's rich. We'll be back to discuss all of this. Please stay with us. Welcome back. It's still Sport Africa. Of course, if you're just joining us, you've not actually missed so much, but we've been having fun on the show today. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Please click on that the notification button so that you get the video as soon as they are posted. This is an African thing. So if you're in Canada, you're in the US, you're in Britain, you are in Australia, you are in everywhere, even in Africa, yeah, please subscribe to our channel because this is where we discuss things that you would not find on the mainstream media. James, let's talk about this issue. I'm sure you must have come across it. Michael Essien, I should say, recently a court in Ghana ordered that the two mansions belonging to Michael Essien, $20 million and $30 million respectively, should be auctioned. And because they say he defaulted on the mortgage, and the media has been saying that Michael Essien is broke, Michael Essien has been suffering. And he actually tweeted something, and I think I saw that, and I think we should highlight it. He said he actually deleted that tweet after a short while. I don't know, maybe someone told him to actually delete it. He said a wise man speaks because he has something to say. A fool speaks because he has to say something. Then after a while, he deleted that tweet. But of course, a lot of media in Ghana actually got they got a sight of that tweet. Now, after then, Sadiq Adams, of course, he had an interview with Samuel Kufo about all of this. Remember that we all used to players, African players, I would say, even some players in Europe. Later, you heard that some players have filed for bankruptcy and all that. We are used to this thought that once players finish playing football, the next phase of their life should be, suffering, and all of that. But in this interview, Sadiq Adams had with Samuel Kufo, he said it's a shame that the media in Ghana are actually highlighting all of this. Now, I'll read the quote in that interview. He said, to bring out the news and say Essien is broke is a shame. It is a shame that we think so negatively about our people. We should be positive. Michael is not broke. We are talking about a house they took from him, which cost $20 million and another $30 million. He said, you would have to know if he comes to your house to beg for food. I know the kind of asset Michael has, and I will not stand here to say Michael is broke. Michael is filthily rich. That was what Samuel Kufo said. Now, Adams, I think while trying to unravel all of this, he found out that while Essien was at Chelsea, Roman Abramovich, the former Chelsea owner, encouraged his players to invest in real estate. And he found out that Michael Essien has a lot of investment in England, in Spain, and even beyond in real estate. As a matter of fact, I used to hear about Cobhams in London. It is one of the eyebrow areas in London reserved for millionaires. He said my Essien has properties that are rented out, that are occupied, and he gets money regularly. So all of this, Osekufor is actually disappointed that the media in Ghana, our colleagues in Ghana, didn't do their due diligence. They only went to press and said Michael Essien is broke because 2 houses were collected from him in Ghana.
I mean, I think it's that time they step in, because you can't keep hearing things like this where people just think they can just cook up stories and let it and just put it out on the public domain. I know the way people react. These kind of things. I don't know. Maybe they do it on purpose just to get views, engagements, because that's the end thing now. That's the trend for.
But James, sorry to cut in. Do you think Essien himself should have come out to state the fact? Do you think he should have come out so that this wouldn't even go too far? Because normally some media can argue that we tried to reach out to Essien, there was no response. So that was why we went ahead. Do you think he should have come out to say, this is the situation of things, I'm not broke, and an end of story?
So he knows what is what. He doesn't owe anybody any explanation, like I said. What is more focused on is how to get over the recent setback,
Okay, sadly, it seems that James is actually struggling over there with connectivity. Of course, we just have to go because of time. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Please, Sport Africa, Sport without the S, then Africa with the K, not the C. Please don't forget, subscribe, please. And we've said this several times that if you think there are some things that we can include in our programming, or things that you want to analyze about football or any sporting activity in your area, in your locality, whether you're in Africa, you're in Europe, please let us know. So long it touches African origin, please let us know in the comment section. We read all of your comments all the time. Thank you so much for all your support. Sorry, James couldn't join us again. Next time, surely, of course, we'll fix the connectivity issue. I remain actually Have a fantastic week ahead of you. And bye for now.